Meeting to order. A reminder, please silence all cell phones and electronic devices. When speaking, please come to the podium, state your name, address, and speak loudly and clearly. Thank you. Item number one is approval of the agenda, and before we do that, I would like to amend the agenda for today and have an item on there for discussion and action on naming Dave Dietrich as treasurer. Excuse me. No, go ahead. You're in.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
I guess, I thought you were just.
All right.
Sorry.
With that, I make a motion, we approve the amended agenda.
I'll second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye, 2-0. Item number two, approval of the minutes of the October 21st, 2025 meeting.
I'll move it.
Second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 2-0. Item number three, approval of claims, and I would call on Shane Albrecht from Baker Group to give us an overview of that, please.
Yes, right now, before the authority on this agenda, there is two claims, both from Baker Group. One is out of the project fund, the other one is out of the miscellaneous fund. The one out of the project fund is $21,057.40. The one out of the miscellaneous fund is $1,105 for a grand total of $22,162.40.
Thank
Any
you, Shane.
questions?
Any questions? I move that we approve the claims.
I'll second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 2-0. Okay, I'd like to move forward on our amendment to the agenda in discussion and action on making Dave Dietrich as the treasurer of the Woodbury County Law Enforcement Authority. Any discussion? I then make a motion that we name Dave Dietrich as treasurer of the Woodbury County Law Enforcement Authority.
I'll second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 2-0. Item number four on the agenda is a financial report by Ryan Erickson.
Hi, Ryan Erickson, Woodbury County. I would like to be the first to welcome Dave as the treasurer. So if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them for you, sir. On this, this is now that we're only doing monthly meetings, I have the report for the month of October. And it shows you that the taxable/project fund had about $9,000 of interest revenue and then paid out $38,000 of expenditures, which was to CW Suiters, Resource Consulting Engineers, and Thompson Electric. And then the miscellaneous, at that point, there was no interest posted, but had $14,000 of expenditures. And that was, again, to Resource Consulting and Greenwood Consulting. And then the maintenance fund had $1,700 of interest posted. And that was the activity for the month of October.
Any question of Mr. Erickson? None.
I have a question, sir.
Yeah.
Fund 4754, when do you think that will have the money in? What's your plan there?
When we were looking at getting the checks ready for, or not checks, but the claims ready, I've submitted claims for Woodbury County, so they should be approved on the 18th. And so the money will be there, that following Wednesday, so the 19th. So it'll be there before the 1st of December.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, sir.
And that's also on these two, since I don't think we had the claims, so we have to approve those separately later in the agenda. So that's all I had.
Thank you, sir. All right, item number five on today's agenda is Building Services Facility Report, and I would call on Kenny Schmitz to provide that to us, please.
Good
Ron?
afternoon.
Sorry. The agenda that was in front of me's got, doesn't have Kenny there. Oh, I'm just,
Looking at the minutes from the last.
I'm sorry.
Nope, you're good.
My bad, sir, sorry.
Okay, we're good.
So I asked the chairman to start including a facilities report line item in the agendas so I can report on things that are going on in the facility going forward, something we haven't done in the past. So try to be brief with some of that. Some of it is related to the construction or finishing up some of the construction, and so I won't go into a detail on some of those items. I'll just speak to them, but on Monday, the 27th, and Tuesday, the 28th, Hausman Construction worked on the soundproofing of the jury rooms. I met with them the morning of the 29th to go over those repairs, and then also reviewed that work on the 4th with the Baker Group. Parking lot striping, Hausman has still been working on that. They did the yellow striping was completed. The handicap blue striping was completed. They did do some of the red fire striping, that it wasn't acceptable and or accepted. They had planned on returning tomorrow. I just received an email as our meeting started that said they won't be here Friday. Other items, Chubb, our insurance provider for the facility, came in, did a boiler and water heater inspection that we were due for. They do that annually. I have a letter from Todd Milkey from Chubb. I'd like to present that to you to receive.
I'll move to receive.
I'll second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 2-0. Thank you.
And I'll give you the basics of that letter, or that email, but what it says is we did not pass our boiler inspections. The reason being is that both of our boilers were known to have some operational problems with alarms. It was noted, as noted in that email, and he includes pictures of instructions in case there's a boiler fault on what technicians or other people should do. He cited that in his report. We did not receive our boiler certificates, which expired October 31st, so we are currently operating those boilers without a certificate. I sent an email to C.W. Suter.
Kenny,
On
did
November
he also
3rd.
give you a 30-day correction period?
Yes, we have a 30-day period to respond. I sent an email to C.W. Suter, included that correspondence to them, did not receive any information or contact back. However, I was called yesterday and by a gentleman with Suter and said, hey, we'd like to come take a look at a couple items in your facility. And my response was, what do you want to come and take a look at? Well, we're not sure. And my response is it the boilers? The response back was, I think so. So I said, sure, go ahead and come. John McBride with C.W. Suter came this morning at 8 o'clock. I asked him what he was going to work on, and he said he was going to look at the boilers. They did look at those. They replaced a control valve on boiler number 2, which I was informed by my technicians on site that that's what they'd done. Now, I have not received any information from Suter themselves or the technician that arrived to do that work. I did call Ron Anderson and left him a voicemail. He's with C.W. Suter. Earlier today, asked him to contact me. I have not received any contact back, but I will be requesting from Suter a letter that said that they were on site today and that they did this. Hopefully it will include that they replaced this control valve. I will take that correspondence if I receive it, and I will send it back to Chubb and tell them that we are responding to their letter. The Sioux City Fire Safety Division came and did an inspection of the facility. They do that occasionally. They weren't requested to come and do it. They asked me to meet with them, which I did. They reviewed our site safety plan, our fire pump room and churn test logs for our fire pumps. They inspected our fire extinguishers, made sure they were up to date. They checked some clear paths of egress, wanted to make sure that was all fine. And they checked our kitchen equipment operations. They didn't note any problems, so everything went well there. Sioux City Environmental Services did an inspection on our stormwater inlets, and our inspections, everything went okay there. Our trash containment area at the LEC, you've heard me speak of that. Our trash bin won't currently take care of our needs, and so we did replace the front gate on that trash containment area. I've got a before and after photo to show you. This will allow us,
I'll move to receive that one.
Thank you.
I'll second that. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
so this will allow us, at least short-term, to take care of the facility. Longer term, I'm looking at trying to get an actual trash compactor onto the site, and I believe that a trash compactor versus having two bins will be more economical. Operating expenses will drop if we have a compactor. They won't need to make so many trips out to dump. There will be an upfront initial cost, and I'm looking into those costs now. Courtrooms and restrooms in the main corridor at the LEC. We were trying to purchase additional signage for the main corridor. The courts are receiving many complaints that they don't know, occupants don't know what courtroom is what. Unfortunately, with our current layout, the signage is in a way, if you walk into the main corridor from the entrance, you can't see what courtroom is what or where the restrooms are. All you can see is a big, long corridor. So we want to add some additional signage that would say courtroom 1, 2, and 3, and the signage would actually be mounted in such a manner that if you look down the main corridor, you can see what those are. Unfortunately, we're not able to purchase the signage we have for the facility any longer. The company that was making those is either stopped making them or out of business, but they're not obtainable. We're currently looking into if we can somehow replicate the current signage that we have someone else replicate it. If not, we'll have to choose a different type of signage that will hopefully match well with what we have in the facility. Yesterday, we completed building automation systems training with Star Control. The chairman was there, Baker Group was there. We had put this off for quite a while because of the HVAC issues we were having, and the building automation system, in my opinion, was not functioning correctly. And so I had instructed my staff not to utilize it. We had training yesterday. There are a few quirks in that system that need to be worked out, but overall it's working, and I think the training went very well. A couple of upcoming events. I worked this out with the sheriff's office and the courts, but we're going to need to do an emergency generator full load test. Now, we have an emergency generator test approximately every 2 weeks or every month, where it does an automatic transfer. The generator switches power by itself, but it never actually does what's called a full load transfer. It transfers some of the load of the building to ensure that it's operating and switching correctly. But what a full load test does is Ziegler Cat, our contractor, comes in. They actually switch this unit over. The whole entire facility actually goes on emergency power and does a full switch. I've got to set that up when a time is appropriate to make that occur. Another event that we're setting up, this will be done in the very near future. It was requested by our sheriff's office. But we will be conducting a munitions deployment inside the detention areas. What a munitions deployment is our security officers are going to go into specific areas of the facility, and they are going to fire live pepper ball, blast, and burst components. Those are usually used in tough situations for our sheriff's office that they can't control. We're doing this to see how the facility reacts to it and to set up a plan and make sure once we have a plan set that it's executed in a manner that returns the facility to its operations as quickly as possible afterwards. When this occurs, we are going to lose all of our heating and cooling, and or a good majority of it, and cleanups and so forth will need to take place before those operations can be brought back online. So anyway, that's all I had. Any questions for me?
Any questions?
Yeah, I have a quick question, Kenny. So first one is, without a certificate, for those boilers, what happens without a certificate?
I've never been in this situation before,
All
but
right.
my personal opinion is it's not a good situation to be in the event of any type of an emergency or failure.
Okay. And so they said 30 days. After that 30 days, I mean, obviously, is there another, were there specific fixes on that said, you have to do this to get the certificate, or is just kind of up in the air, or?
I've never been, I can only give you what I can relate this to in the past. I've been, I would call this an inspection write-up. I've had these occur previously and for other things. Now, other things might be a new code requirement that comes into place. I don't necessarily know about it, but this inspector does. And he'll come in and inspect the boilers, and he might say something like, hey, we have a new code, Iowa has a new code requirement. You need emergency stop outside your door to this space. And my usual reply is, oh, sorry, didn't know about that. Mm-hmm. And he's going to say, and his response will be, it will be in my report. I'm not issuing a certificate. And then I'll receive a letter similar to the one we've got. It'll give me so many days to address it. In my past experience, I have always addressed those within that 30-day period, and I usually try to do it within a 2-week period, no matter what it is. I have always done that. So this is a different case.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of issues with those boilers, so it kind of, could very well go longer than that, I would think.
It very well could. I'm going to do my best to hopefully provide any information that might satisfy them, because this does leave the authority open for some possible problems. I don't know if I didn't respond to this letter within the 30-day period. I don't know what would happen. I've never been in that scenario, but I am anticipating another letter would come that would say that they are asking us probably to shut those boilers or take them out of operation. I'm just guessing. I don't know.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 6 on our agenda today is approval of bond payment to BOK Financial in the amount of $456,720 for Law Enforcement Center Facilities Revenue Series bonds for 2021. Any discussion? All right, I make a motion then that this payment be made, and it be made after we receive the rent payment from the Board of Supervisors.
I'll second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye, passes 2-0. Item number 7, approval of bond payment to BOK Financial in the amount of $270,155.37 for Law Enforcement Center Facilities Revenue Bonds Series 2020. Any discussion? Hearing none, I make a motion that we make this payment after we receive the rent payment from the Board of Supervisors.
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye, passes 2-0. Item number 8, discussion and action on Star Control's quote for 3 airflow monitoring stations for AHU3, and I would call on Shane Albrecht to give us an overview, please.
Yeah, so before you, you have a quote for $20,000, and this is for the final one. If you remember, we've done this for both air handlers 1 and 2. This is the one to get the supply and return fans separated for AHU3 to get this problem resolved. This was previously approved by Ron because it's under his amount, but this is just a ratification for it before the board.
Any discussion?
I'll move to approve.
I second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Passes 2-0. Item number 9, discussion and action on Star Control's quote to separate supply and return fan signals for AHU3. And again, I'd call on Shane Albrecht, please.
This is, again, the third one of these. This is a not-to-exceed number for $5,500. And it's to be able to basically turn, we have 4 return fans. At times, we only need one of them. Right now, they're in a wall that they all 4 run at the same time. This is just approval to break the signal down so only one of those starts at a time as needed.
Any discussion?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second. All in favor, aye? Aye. Passes 2-0. Item number 10, discussion and action on Star Control's quote for chilled and hot water reset strategy. And again, I would call on Shane Albrecht from Baker Group, please.
So before you have a cost for $6,400. So right now, there is no reset strategy, and our chilled water system has a differential pressure of 31 PSI, and our hot water system has a differential pressure of 28 PSI. Corey feels that number, Corey Metzger with Resource Consulting Engineers, feels that number should be closer to low to mid-20s most of the time. So we put a reset strategy to automate this so that when we don't have enough valves opened, it will turn the pumps down, so we're not spending all the pump energy and everything else and overusing our pumps. Right now, for both of those, there's 3 pumps, and we'll see times that all 3 pumps are running, and there's no reason that they need to be running under most of those conditions. So this will be a fixed remedy to that. Any questions?
No.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Passes 2-0. Item number 11, discussion and action on Star Control's quote for hot water bypass valve relocation.
Yeah, so right now, the hot water bypass valve is located in the penthouse, which happens to be right above the sheriff's office. Best practices would be this would be installed at least 2/3 of way of the total length of pipe. So this is to remove that bypass valve from where it's at right now and put it in Air Handler 3's doghouse, which is the farthest away. So this would help with some of our boiler problems that's going on with our boiler short cycling.
Any questions?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second. All in favor, aye? Aye. Passes 2-0. Item number 12, discussion and action on Star Control's quote to move chilled water DP sensor location.
Yeah, so before you have a quote for $12,424, what this does is, right now, the chilled water differential pressure sensors are in the penthouse. They need to be farther out in the system and not affected by the pumps. It's another reason why the pumps, all three pumps come on. This would put those differential pressure sensors out in air handler 3 as well. And that's been the recommendation of what we need to do to get that problem resolved.
Any questions?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Passes 2-0. Item number 13, approval of CW Suter bill for AHU 2. And again, I would call on Shane Albrecht to give us an overview, please.
Yeah, so normally these bills would be in your packet, and we would approve them during claims. Because of the back and forth, these are a time and material process. So to get this all done and get this all rectified, this work has been completed for a long time, and part of our promise to Suter was prompt payment of this stuff. So some of this work started back in August, and just getting the bills all rectified. So what you'll see is the different timesheets for all the work, the material, and the final number for this bill is $23,669.70. The overall not-to-exceed price on this was $29,959. So it's about $6,000 under their maximum price here. So this is just approval of that bill that would normally happen in your packet.
Any questions?
I'll move to approve.
I will second. All in favor, aye? Aye.
Aye.
Passes 2-0. Item number 14, approval of CW Suter bill for PR 54. And again, I'd call on Shane Albrecht from Baker Group, please.
Yeah, so this is another bill. Again, we actually offered them payment before they did the work. They didn't take that. They went with payment after they did the work. There was a section in here, it says design responsibility only acknowledges rework due to design flaws in the exhaust system. That was removed from the original quote, so you'll see that struck through and initialed by both Kenny and Ron. But the number is the right number. It's what they approved, so I recommend approving payment out of that on Fund 4750.
Any questions?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Passes 2-0. Item number 15 on the agenda today is information and update on LEC project. And again, I'd call on Shane Albrecht from Baker Group, please.
Yeah, so right now, let's just talk about what's been going on. There's been a lot of work, as Kenny said, with the HVAC system and different adjustments. And most everything that you have approved today, because it had been signed off before because of urgency by Ron, minus the differential pressure reset strategy, that work has already been complete, and we're already seeing some of the benefits and some of the positive things moving forward as far as the operation of AHU 1, 2, and 3. We've got a couple items left for final completion. One of them is seating, which we've seen a little progress with since the last time we talked with Hausman coming out and doing some reseeding and some other pro-organics additions to the building. But the other piece has been test and balancing. So we had our report back, and we've installed, as part of PR 54, 2 new exhaust fans on the roof to try to get the test and balancing to be right. The areas that didn't meet code, that were not code compliant, were the holding cells. They were too deficient, so they did not meet the CFM requirements. So that the solution was to add these 2 exhaust fans. When the balancing report came back on EF14, it still did not meet the CFM requirements in 2 of the cells. So luckily this week, another balancing company was out. So we brought them in to look at what we've got going on, and we were able to trace it down to, in our opinion, a couple areas that need to be corrected, and then hopefully we will hit where we need to be. So I think it was a very good use of time, and literally we called them on Tuesday. They showed up Wednesday at 7:30 in the morning, and we were done by 11 with what we did for checks. So I mean, that was very thankful for Corey's help and everything else there. Kevin, I know you're here, and I apologize. Is there anything Any other questions you have or anything else you'd like to add?
No, I don't think so at this time, Shane. So thank you.
Okay. Is there any questions for anybody here in the room?
Thank you, Shane. All right, item number 16 on our agenda today is public concerns that do not relate to a scheduled item on the agenda.
Can you hear me? Okay, William Burrows, and these questions are for the chair. Hopefully you won't have to consult to answer these questions. First of all, do you view these YouTube videos of these meetings?
Are you asking, do I view them?
Do
Is that
you
what
view
you're
them?
saying?
Yes, I'm asking.
No, I have not.
You do not? Okay. So let me just tell you what I saw last week at the last meeting of this group. Our high-paid consultant over here was relating about a sound test that he and you and Mr. Schmitz performed on the courtrooms. And you would have been better off buying an earphone or an ear horn than that explanation. None of your hearing acuities, I don't think, were tested. And if we're paying $34,000 a month for this fella to guess whether you can hear or not is outrageous. And furthermore, if you looked at the Board of Supervisors video from just yesterday, was it, Mr. Dietrich? Tuesday, you would see that there are employees that are outraged about the cost of their insurance going up. All of that money could have been used to help pay their benefits. But no, you've been paying it to the Butler Group. And once they learn that, it's not going to be pretty. I'm just saying, it's just outrageous. Second of all, have you been praying for guidance on the path to mediation as Chairman Bittner asked for last week?
I'm sorry.
The question is, have you been praying for guidance on the path to mediation as Chairman Bittner asked for last week?
What I do with regard to mediation, I work with our attorney on it. In fact, I've been working with her all morning this morning. So,
Okay. So
we
the
are
answer is
working-
no, you
We are
haven't been
working
praying.
on mediation.
Okay. So let me ask you this then. Whether you prayed or not, have you selected your mediation team yet? And who are those folks?
I would defer that to our attorney.
Of course you would. Yes, Miss Attorney?
Ron Wick is going to be the LECA's representative.
Okay.
And there will be various other representatives there, including multiple people for the county and representatives for the LECA.
So do these people have names?
At this point, I would say our attendee list is final. So Ron will be there. Our owner rep, Shane, will be there. For the county, Kenny will be there. Sheriff Sheehan will be there. Ryan Erickson will be there. I don't know if the county has formally decided on what county representatives would be there. My assumption is that it would be Dan Bettinger and Mark Nelson. I will also have my experts there to be on call. John Templer will be there as counsel for the county. I don't think Joshua or James will be there in person. They may be there remote at certain times. I believe Sean Korpstein, the associate or the partner that works with John Templer, will be there. Let me see. Those are the representatives for the authority and the county that I can think of off the top of my head. I may have missed someone, but those are.
That's pretty good, pretty
those are
good. I
the
appreciate that.
Representatives that I can think of.
So what day will that happen?
Mediation is set for November 24th and 25th.
So it's a 2-day,
It's a 2-day mediation.
okay. And where will it be held?
At my office in Des Moines. And so Des Moines is kind of a central location. We have
Sure.
Houseman in Nebraska, we have council in Cedar Rapids, we have up here, so Des Moines was central location, so my
Okay,
office.
okay. Now, will that be open to the public?
No, mediations
Of
are not
course
open
it
to
would
the
not
public.
be. Yes. Will the results of the meeting be made public?
If a settlement is reached at mediation, if there is what we believe a settlement that both public entities would be comfortable with at the mediation, then yes, it will be talked about at open meeting. The terms of any settlement, potential settlement would be talked about at an open meeting and would be voted on at an open meeting. So you get, at the mediation, you get close to what we think these public entities would agree upon, but then they're all discussed, both open meetings for the LECA and the county.
Okay, okay. Is this the last, Chairman Wick, is this the last LEC meeting before the mediation?
We may have another meeting to include a closed session meeting before the mediation.
But no more open sessions before the mediation?
Unless there's something unforeseeable that comes up, no, there will not be any more open session meetings before, open meetings before the mediation.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Any other public concerns? Seeing or hearing none, we'll move on to item number 17, Authority Board Member Concerns.
I don't have any, just
I
happy
have
to be
none
here,
either.
do my part.
Okay, very good. Item number 18 is joint closed session with Woodbury County Board of Supervisors and Frederickson and Byron Law Firm under Iowa Code Section 21.51C, and I move that we go into closed session.
A second.
All in favor, aye?
Wick,
Roll call, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Wick,
Yes.
Dietrich,
aye.
Moore absent.
All right, we're in closed session.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Kev.
See you, Kev.